Good morning, my beautiful people. Happy Sunday. It is Sunday, April 20th. Don't I look so handsome in this red tie, red handkerchief? Ooh, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm feeling great today. I had my breakfast. It's 5:14. I am happy. Why? Because I'm alive. Each and every day that I get to wake up and I'm still breathing, that's a blessing. And it's SNF 12. Sports News Flash at 12. I'm the weekend sports anchor. I don't have to answer to no one. This is what I do, baby. So, but once again, I thank the man above. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do this. So yeah, I'm in a great mood, and that's how everyone should be. If you're still breathing, thank the man above first. That's the first thing you got to do every day in the morning. Thank the man above first that you're still breathing, that you're still alive. The fact that you have a key to your house, that's a blessing. To be able to talk, walk, run, do exercise, read, all of those things are a blessing. All right? So let's kick things off with NBA play-in tournament. That game between the Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks. By the way, since I root for the Miami Heat, I'm wearing the Heat colors. I could have wore the Miami Heat hoodie, but I gotta keep it professional. So the red tie in honor of the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat became the first number 10th seed to make the playoffs. You never would understand Miami Heat in the postseason. For them to have the season that they had, dealing with the whole Jimmy Butler situation, that team has a lot of players that are rough riders, that are dogs, menace, like Davion Mitchell. Listen, the Miami Heat, they had to bring him back. You gotta pay the man. Davion Mitchell is an exceptional two-way player. His defense against the Atlanta Hawks, I mean, down the stretch, he's been phenomenal, but in the season. But what he did against the Atlanta Hawks, without his contributions, Miami Heat would have not won that game. Miami Heat won in overtime against the Atlanta Hawks, but Davion Mitchell was the key. He was the X factor of that game. Tyler Hero, he keeps doing his thing. He's becoming a better leader day by day. Same thing with Bam Adebayo. Haywood Highsmith, another terrific defender. Miami Heat's defense stepped up big time. Not only in the Chicago Bulls game, but especially down the stretch against the Atlanta Hawks. But that game was sensational, guys. Those last 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, it was beauty. Both teams just wanted so bad, but only one team could come out and win, and that's the Miami Heat. So number 8 seed Miami Heat versus Cleveland Cavs, which begins today, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, they play today at 7 p.m. Miami Heat versus the number 1 seed Cleveland Cavs. That should be an interesting matchup. Cleveland cannot take Miami Heat lightly, and Miami Heat, they know that they have to win a game on the road. So we got to be on the lookout for that. Dallas Mavericks, oh boy. A team that went to the NBA Finals last year. Everything started to fall apart when they traded Luka. Then Kyrie Irving went down with an ACL injury. Anthony Davis, I give him so much credit for this game against the Memphis Grizzlies. He did everything he could, but Memphis Grizzlies just completely exposed the Mavs defense. I picked Memphis to win that game. Same thing, I picked Miami Heat to win against Atlanta. I thought that the Mavericks-Grizzlies game was going to be a close one, but that was a completely one-sided victory. Desmond Bane is my favorite player from the Grizzlies team. I like the way he plays the game. Follow after him is Jaren Jackson Jr. Scottie Pippen Jr., he's no scrub. he slowly is starting to, I'm slowly starting to become a fan of him. Zach Edey is the one player that I'm rooting for him to succeed in Memphis. Ja Morant, he may be the best player on the team, but I lost respect for him. I don't think he's a great leader for this team, but you know, he's a very talented player. Memphis Grizzlies, they have the pieces to the puzzle to go far in the postseason, but they need a strong leadership there. These antics, talking too much smack when you haven't done anything, you gotta zip it up and play your game, and they gotta stay healthy too. So now they will play against Oklahoma City Thunder, which will be today as well, and that game will be at 1 p.m. is the first game of the quadruple header for today's playoff games. So, but the Mavericks, oh boy, everything fell apart. Everything. Nico Harrison, he has a lot of balls. He is the most hated GM in the game right now. And I don't know how long he will stay in Dallas. I don't know how long he could stay living in Dallas if this things continue to get worse and worse. And Mavericks fans, they are hoping that Luka doesn't go far this year in the playoffs with the Lakers. Speaking of which, that leads me to the following game to talk about. The Minnesota Timberwolves, bravo. They absolutely picked up the part of the Lakers, taking game one on the road, 117-95. I picked the Timberwolves to win this game. Now, some of you may know, some of you may not know, for a lot of years, I was a Lakers fan because of the Black Mamba, Kobe Bean Bryant. Rest in peace. My favorite player of all time. But mainstream media, especially ESPN, gave me a lot of motivation why not to root for the Lakers. I'm a firm believer that you have to cover teams that are good and are relevant. And ESPN is one of those platforms that they continue to talk about the Lakers, especially when they were irrelevant. And that's why I hated the Luka trade, because I knew that the minute that he went to the Lakers, oh boy, here we go again. It was already bad enough with LeBron being there and still being there, but now that you have Luka there, and I like Luka, tremendous player, but that's the biggest reason why I'm not a fan of Nico Harrison this day, because he got traded to the Lakers, and knowing that ESPN is going like this. Yes, let's talk about more Lakers. So, yeah, I don't root for the Lakers like I once did. I mean, when I started watching basketball, it was in the first season of the Lakers. In Kobe's first year winning the title, 1999-2000, that's when I started watching basketball. So basically a big chunk of my life as a Laker fan was because of him. Not because of Shaq, it was because of him. So, but ESPN and other ridiculous sports media personalities, they gave me a lot of reason why to stop liking the Lakers, and I just feel like the Lakers front office is a joke. So, but yeah, things are just not the same. So yeah, the Timberwolves were young, were hungry. I still feel that they are one of those teams that have something to prove, especially this is a team that went to the conference finals last year. I'm happy that they got the victory against the Lakers. I like Anthony Edwards. Obviously, there's certain things about him that I'm not a fan of, but in this series, of course, I want him to win the series. And even though Luka dropped 37, congrats to him. But, Anthony Edwards and the whole group, they stepped up. Jaden Daniels, he dropped 25. Good stuff. He shot 11 of 13. And in my Miguel Mike Medina Jack of all trades YouTube channel, when I spoke about the Timberwolves, I said in order for them to thrive in the playoffs, especially against the Lakers, it's not just Anthony Edwards. Jaden McDaniels, Dante DiVincenzo, and Julius Randle, and Naz Reid, of course. Those four guys, they have to come through. They have to have big games. They have to step up. And I'm glad that Jaden McDaniels did that in this game. So they got the victory on the road, which is very important. So very happy for the Timberwolves. And the last time these two teams played in the playoffs was back in 2004 in the conference finals. But in the first round, it was in 2003. Lakers won both series in 03 and 04, but the Timberwolves might have something to say about that this year. Let's see. My New York Knicks, they went on a 21-0 run. They won game one, 123 to 112. Good stuff. And as a Knicks fan, I was curious to see what kind of version of the Knicks we will get in the postseason because they've been inconsistent. They struggle against good 500, over 500 teams. They were 6-12 this year against good teams. But that 21-0 run, the fourth quarter, that solidified this game. They outscored the Pistons 40-21 in the first quarter. Jalen Brunson, he had 34. Tobias Harris, he led the Pistons with 25. So good victory by the Knicks. I'm very happy. Nick Tate. The Denver Nuggets beat the Clippers. I like this series. I'm a fan of both teams. And it tears me apart because Kawhi Leonard is my favorite player from the Clippers. And the Nuggets, I've always been a fan of this team since 2020. And I knew how good this team is when they're healthy. So they won 112 to 110 in overtime. I expect a lot of good things from this series. I do expect this series to go at least to 7 games. That's how much respect I'm giving the Clippers. But good victory by Denver. Very good victory. They just got to stay healthy. So I wish this team nothing but the best. Russell Westbrook, he came through clutch defensively in game one. Nikola Jokic, he had 29. And then James Harden led the Clippers with 32. And last but not least, in terms of NBA playoffs, and this was the first game of the playoffs, so I'm going backwards from the latest games to the early games. Bucks, Pacers, Damian Lillard, they're not playing this game because of blood clots, but he'll be available for game 2. This was all Indiana. Indiana won 117-98. Indiana, when they're at home, postseason, you never want to underestimate them. And Indiana is one of those teams that they can be pesky when they want to. So, but Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Halliburton, they played sensational in this game. Despite Giannis dropping 36 points, but Indiana, they played very well in the first quarter, the second quarter. Their third quarter was their least best performance, but it was that first half that they were just outstanding. So that's day one of the NBA playoffs. Today, like I said, we have 4 games. Yesterday was 4 games. We have 4 games today as well. Grizzlies versus Thunder at 1. Orlando versus Boston at 3:30. Miami versus Cleveland at 7. And then Golden State versus Houston. Oh man, these two teams battled out in 2015, 2018, 2019. The Warriors got the best of them, but let's see if the Houston can might have something to say about that. So hopefully that's a good series. Off to NHL. because the playoffs started yesterday for NHL. Winnipeg Jets defeated St. Louis Blues 5-3. Colorado defeated Dallas 5-1. As for today's game, we have 3. New Jersey's versus Carolina at 3. Ottawa versus Toronto at 7. Shout out to Ottawa for making the playoffs. And Minnesota versus Vegas at 10 p.m. All these games will be on ESPN. And last but not least, talk some tennis. That's right. Talk about some tennis. Carlos Alcaraz, he defeated Arthur Fines to move on to the finals at the Barcelona Open. And he won the first set 6-2 and then the second set 6-4. And Alcaraz, you know, he was celebrating. And Alcaraz, who's Spaniard, he is now 29-1 in his last 30 matches on Spanish clay courts. And supposedly, you know, he might be on a mission to dominate clay season this year. And when he was asked on the court for an interview about explaining his celebration, he said, and I quote, "The celebration was for my team. They tell me a thing, I'm not going to say what a thing is, but they tell me every time during the match a thing I have to do." So he said it was just a silly thing, it wasn't a dance. So but yeah, he's moving on to the finals. He's looking to secure his third career Barcelona Open title. I hope he wins. I mean, he's one of my favorite tennis players in the game. He'll be going up against Holger Rune, which should be a very fascinating matchup. And this is going to be their 4th head-to-head matchup. Alcaraz is 2-1 against Rune. The first one that they faced was in 2021 at the Next Gen ATP Finals, which Alcaraz won. And then in 2022 Paris Masters, Rune won. And then in the 2023 Wimbledon quarterfinals, Alcaraz won. So this should be a very interesting matchup. I gotta check the highlights of those matches. So yesterday, Coco Gauff versus Jasmine Paolini, 2 of my favorite female tennis players in the game. They went head to head, and Jasmine Paolini, she did an outstanding job. She defeated Coco Gauff. She is moving on. Arina Sabalenka, another one who's a favorite of mine. She's the #1 tennis player in the world. She won her match as well. I'm checking right now who will Paolini will be going up against. It's a rematch of the Miami Open Finals. Arina Sabalenka, #1 versus #5 Jasmine Paolini. And the match will be at 8:10 a.m. So right now it's 5:33. So if anything, guys, you might see me putting up a YouTube short later on, give you guys the updates on that. I'm a fan of both women, but I really hope that Jasmine Paolini gets her revenge this time. It's not gonna be easy because Arina Sabalenka, she's tough. She's tough, but I hope that Paolini comes out on top this time. And that concludes this episode of Sports News Flash at 12. Sports News Flash at 12. On air, Sports News Flash at 12. So enjoy your Sunday, guys. Enjoy NASCAR. Enjoy those quadruple NBA playoff games. Enjoy those 3 Stanley Cup playoff games. Enjoy baseball. Enjoy college baseball. April, just like October, are the best months when it comes to sports. So much going on, and that's a blessing for us sports journalists, sports writers, content creators, etc. We have a lot to talk about, so kudos to us. So let's have fun today. Let's have a great day. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Be safe, and may God bless each and every one of you. Remember, put the man above first before anything that you do, all right? Prayer works. I mean it, prayer works. So trust and believe that. Have a great Sunday, everyone.